Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic. Welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new, welcome. So glad you're here. So I'm very excited to share a batch of journals that's going up in my Etsy shop. I have had Christmas on the brain lately, and it's so funny because I've been working on these for the last couple of weeks. It doesn't feel like October to me. It's really kind of funny because I go to the store yesterday and I saw this guy dressed like Santa for Halloween, and it just like, it just threw me off. So like I said, I've been working on these for a couple of weeks. I did not do any traveler's notebook size yet, but I will be. I'm hoping that I can have them done in a week's time, although I'm not quite sure. I have some obligations that I have to deal with later this week, but we shall see. I have 5 journals and they are all the same size, which is about 8.5 by 5.5, and it's a 2.5-inch spine. All of them have 3 signatures and there are 10 sheets in each one. So that is 60 pages. Sorry, I knew that already. 60 pages, which is plenty for memory keeping the month of December. So super excited. Let's get into these journals. So my thought for these journals is that it would make a great album for December daily, or just keeping a memory scrapbook of your holiday season. I'm going to start with this journal because it's kind of the odd man out. It's the only one that I just wrapped up this time. So I used some vintage rickrack here and some red ribbon, and I think that's so pretty. And this fabric that is covering this journal is a old tablecloth. So like I said, they're all the same size. They're all 3 signatures. I tried to keep them kind of bare. It's okay, you can laugh. And while it is a little more bare on the inside, because I wanted you to be able to add your photographs and all of that to this journal, I did stitch a lot of laces onto the book because, yeah, I just know that's something you can't very easily go back and do after the book's put together. So I wanted that to be on here. So here along the side, I just have some garment pins with some bells. I have a little paper tassel that I made, another bell, and then there's a little red bow hanging on this clip. Now this is attached with a piece of wire that I have delicately wrapped and folded down so it won't poke anybody's finger, but just be warned. I don't want anybody to poke themselves with this. All right. So like I said, this is a tablecloth. I think it's so pretty. So on the inside of the journal here, I have a library card pocket with a card, and this is just tucked in here. It's a little piece of holly. I just thought it was cute. You can take that out, of course. So these journals, I tried to leave as blank as possible, but what I have done is gone through and just clipped a bunch of cards and ephemera in here. So if you decide that you want any of these journals, all you have to do is go through and take out those cards, and it thins right down. So because it was kind of bare due to the nature of this journal, I wanted to go through and fill it up. So here in the front of each book, I've added a vintage Christmas card. They have been used. The auction said that they were from the 20s and 30s, so I think that's a lot of fun. And then I just have cardstock, lots of stitching, lots of lace. I have some old gift tags that I've included and used. Pockets and stitching. Here is a pocket here. I used some vintage music sheets that are Christmas. Here is just a bag, and it has some scrap paper clipped on the inside. Each journal has a little tag pocket that I made. So I just stapled some ribbon on here. It's a tag within a tag. This is just a little Christmas tree that I've tucked into this pocket here. And then there's tea stain paper on the back that you can journal. And then here's a vintage postcard. I have included 4 vintage postcards in each journal that have been used because I just think those are so much fun to read. It's a doily here in the center, some ephemera, and again, these double-sided pages would be great for adding photos. I've used some vintage children's book. This is the book that's in here. You could just use it to slip some papers into. So flip out. Doilies, more paper. Other side of that, music paper. Here I've just used one of those vintage gift tags as a tuck spot with some vintage score sheet. And then this here is a pocket as well. Here's another vintage storybook that I used. I thought the art in these books were gorgeous. Those are fun. Some ledger paper. Another pocket, doily, another vintage Christmas card, decoupage napkin on a glassine bag. Now, in each journal, I've also made a tuck spot out of a vintage Christmas card, and it has been used, so it has the signature here. This one I've sewn into a pocket, but I also love the fact that it folds open and you could journal inside of that as well if you'd like. This was a book that I had about the plants of Christmas. I just think those images are beautiful. Double tuck spot with some vintage note paper. The other side of that plant book. More decoupage napkin. Pretty trims. Did I already say this? This is it, yeah. Little handmade paper tassel that I attached with a garment pin. Another tuck spot with a vintage gift tag. Love those. Some ledger paper. Another flip out, and again, this would be an awesome place to add your photos too. The other side of that storybook, another vintage card. And then here is the last signature. Keep working myself out of frame here. So here's a tuck spot, some ephemera. Here is another music book that I had with some Christmas music. I love that. There's a lot of markings in this book because you could tell it was used for piano lessons. Another vintage postcard. Here I stitched some holly leaves along that side of the paper. Another gift tag tuck. And then another image from that children's book. This was from the 50s. Another pocket. Another vintage card that I made into a pocket with a vintage score sheet. This is just a stitched shaker card for journaling. And I sprayed this CD case just to add some different, you know, a little bit of a different feel. Because it's Christmas, I wanted some sparklies in there. Another gift tag tuck here. Then here's the other side of this music page. I love the images. So that is folded here to make a pocket that you could use. Another tuck spot. And that is the end of this book. So this is the only book where I inked all the edges with red. You can't really see it here because there's so much lace going on, but you can see it on the ends. I just think that's cute. All right, so that is the first tablecloth journal with the wraparound closure. And then I made one more tablecloth journal because I just absolutely love it so much. This one just has a tie closure here on the side. Then here there's also the same bells A little bow ornament here, and then a handmade paper tassel. Here on the inside, same library card and piece of holly decoration. Here is the vintage Christmas card that I tucked into here. Pretty trims. And again, very much the same. So I'll probably speed through these a little bit just so we can get through this video a little quicker. Another one of those big tags that I made. Now this time I have on some of them, I printed off on acetate last year for some pocket letters I had made, and I had some left over, and I just think they would be really fun. You could add and use like ephemera around in your journal. So each of them will have a phrase of some kind in them. I don't exactly remember seeing one in the last journal, so I'll make sure that there is before I mail it off. Double tuck. Here is the Christmas card that I used in this. It's printed on a super cool piece of parchment. I love that. So this one is just made into a tuck spot. Another vintage postcard. Love that image of Santa. So great. And there's another one of those shaker cards in that CD case. This image. Other side of Santa. And that is the end of that journal. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but each journal will come with a bag of extra goodies, cut aparts, ephemera, things like that that you can use in your Christmas journal. Okay, so this is the only blue one that I made. I think it's super pretty. It has white stitching. And then here along the side, you can see the blues and the whites and the reds poking out. Again, it has some bells. This one does not have a tassel. And then this one has a little bow on the clip too. The rest of the journals have a vintage postcard on the front, but because I could not just glue down a 100-year-old postcard and not be able to see the other side of it, so I used some photo corners. Now I used Fabri-Tac glue to adhere these photo corners onto the book. So I just want to warn you, I think it's fine and I think it's sturdy, but to give this a little tug, first of all, the card's super old, and then the glue. So just be careful when you're taking it out to look at it that you don't pull these off. But if you do, glue works fine. So I used a linen Christmas napkin here as a mat, and then this really pretty postcard here on the cover. I love that. It says, Christmas greetings, just a wish, a loving thought, with all fond remembrance fraught. And I just love that. I love the little bluebirds here. This one has a gold sparkly closure. And then the papers are a little bit different in this book. They have more blues in them. Another library pocket here. Some gold fabric along the spine. This is a very old Christmas card. It's yellowed around the edges. Crazy. But it's super pretty. Just a really pretty metallic. This one has blue stitching in it as well. Still fun book images. Paper. And here's the little pocket that I stitched in with a vintage Christmas card here. Lots of fun to read that message, and then you can journal on the inside. Pretty blue trim with some sparkly red ribbon on this one. I like this postcard. Great. This one is from 1917, so it is 100 years old. I love that. I just love it. Another tuck spot. Love that. A postcard. This one I added some star stitching across the top there. And here's another vintage Christmas card stitched in here. You can journal on, and it is also a tuck spot. Book image. Pocket. Another shaker card in there. Right, and that is the blue snowflake book. This book has a gorgeous poinsettia on the front with some red fabric. Again, you can lift it up and see the writing on the back of the card. Here, same thing going on along the side. You have a little paper tassel here, some bells, and a bow. And the closure on this is a piece of ribbon. The inside, very similar. Christmas card here at the top. Let's try to move through these a little bit quicker. Tuck spot here. This is the only piece of this paper that came in this paper stack. Isn't it so cute? Oh my goodness, I love it. Some more star stitching here on this page. Well, okay, it's actually in the center. Because I used the page with the poinsettia in this book, I left the description page because it's the only thing that was on this page. I just included that here too, so you can use that how you wish. Here's a Christmas card stitched into a pocket again, and you can open that up and journal. I think this is probably one of my favorite book pages that was in this book. I love the elf images here and how much they're helping, and you can see on the other side exactly why that's so much fun. But when we get to that, another postcard. Another one of those shaker cards, and I did clip it onto this. Okay, so here is this picture, and look at all of this going on. I just can't even, I could sit and look at this for like 5 minutes. There's some elves singing, they have to pump the organ. This guy's sleeping. I think that's so funny. I just love it. It's so much fun. That guy is an amazing artist. For sure. Okay, and that is the end. So that is the end of this journal. And then last but not least, I love this postcard here that I used on the cover. And again, has some fun writing. This one is from 1915. I used some black photo corners here. And this card is fragile, so you want to be careful there. So this has some plaid fabric here, this super fun flourish print here, black stitching. So every time I have something that doesn't quite meet my standards, I do want to put this on a little bit of a discount. There is nothing wrong with this journal. When you look at it, it is absolutely fine. But what I don't like is the feel. When I cut the spine, it's kind of rigid here toward the top, but then it has that smooth angle that I like at the bottom. It just doesn't make me very happy. So this one will have a slight discount in my shop just because it doesn't quite make me that happy. And I think it's the thinness of the material. Anyway, it is thin material. I didn't realize that when I was working with it. So here, the bells, the bow, and then I have this little handmade paper tassel here. This one has some green ribbon here. And then on the inside, same pocket. Here is the Christmas card in here, and you could journal in that if you wanted to. Postcard. Book image. Handmade tag. Lots of stuff clipped onto that page. Double tuck. Here's the vintage Christmas card that I've stitched into this book. Again, you could journal on the inside. Always love including that vintage ledger as long as I have it. This would be a great place to write with a white gel pen. I love that about black paper. So while it is Christmassy on one side, this would be awesome for photos, but it would be a lot of fun to write on too. With a white pen. Book page. This has some more holly leaves stitched on top of it. Another shaker card. Fun card. This one's 1915 too. Alright, and that is the end of this book. So that is it for this flip through, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, these will all be up in my Etsy shop if you're interested. And like I said, I will have some traveler's notebooks that I'll be working on next. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're having a great week, and I will see you all next time. Bye!